We're into my 10k income challenge. That's getting an extra 10k per month by the end of the next 10 months. Last video I identified 8 possible areas to investigate that might have legs in terms of earning revenue. This week I'm going to down select the ones that I'm going to take forward for the challenge itself. Right, down selection. How do we do it? Well, firstly I'm going to give myself some qualifying criteria that the topics have to achieve to go through to the next round. These are personal to me, but I reckon if yours don't pass these tests, I'd be very surprised as well. So first one, not too hard or surprising. I need to have a clear path I can turn into activity that I know will generate cash. They don't necessarily need to generate the full 10k, but I need to be able to see how I won't actually be wasting my time earnings-wise. Okay, not too difficult to come up with that one. Second though is a bit more personal, and you'll need to decide whether this is one for you too. You see, having reached the age I am, I kind of know some of my strengths and weaknesses, and I know one thing for sure, and that is I have to be interested in something or I have to be enjoying something. If a topic does neither for me, basically that's when things get hard. And bearing in mind these things always do have hard periods, I need to basically be aware of that when I'm selecting at this stage. Now, be honest, does that sound like you? If yes, welcome to the club. If no, more power to you. Crack on and choose which ones will be financially rewarding for you. Next is a bit of a half consideration. Can I invest some cash to get a flying start on the topic? I don't want to, but if necessary, I do have the option. I'm not planning to, but let's just see. Finally is a key element which I need to have in mind when thinking about these ideas. It's the investment of the only really critical, irreplaceable component, and that's time. I reckon given enough time, I could turn all of these into something, but I just don't have the hours in the day. Don't forget, I'm working full-time in my consultancy business at the same time as doing this, so jobs need to be not too time intensive. Right, here's the list we came up with last time. So, right out of the box, I'm going to select YouTube, partly because I have to make videos for this topic and this channel, and also I'm actually very interested to see whether the channel can actually make some money. I think it's a bit of a long shot, frankly, and I have my fears about the time it takes to script, film, edit and post every video, but I've committed to this one and it has to keep going. Now, here is one point where I do have the option to spend money. I could hire an editor. That's an obvious possibility, but they're quite expensive, and I always said I'd hire one when I can see that there's a flicker of interest in the channel. Well, too early yet, so I'm just going to have to bite the bullet for the moment. Now let's look at ones I can rule out for the moment, and I'm going to cross off 2 at this stage. The first is photography. I've invested my time in a website, but monetizing my photographs at this stage looks really tricky. I don't have the time to shoot more photographs, so it would have to be what I already have. I've already tried stock photography sales via the stock photography sites, and they didn't pan out. So no, at this stage for photography, too time intensive. The next one is my current book on franchising. I've got the book on Amazon, but I haven't done any significant marketing. Consequently, the sales have not been too great. But as I've said, I will use this for marketing purposes when I need to. In fact, if you contact me below, I'll send you a copy for free in return for a subscription. How about that for a deal? At this stage though, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I don't think it's very useful for people following along who are unlikely to have a 200-page book ready to go from the get-go. So it's a no for the book, at least from generating direct sales. And finally, I'm not too keen on spending a great deal of time on that topic. I just wouldn't enjoy it, which is my other criterion, don't forget. So 2 down, 1 selected. Now down to the bottom, and the memorial website. This is tricky because I do think this is a possibility, but at this stage it really is the germ of an idea and it needs loads more work and time. The problem though is that the time is the one thing I just don't have at the moment. I'm going to add another category now, and I'm going to call it a wait list, and I'm going to give it an arrow like that. These are ideas that I'm not going to start on, but I'll continue to think about and maybe refine down. Into that category will also go online courses. I need to create the topic for the course first. For that I need feedback. It's kind of a vicious circle, but for the moment I don't need to address it. So I'm left now with one-to-one consulting, which I like the idea of. I like coaching and it's relatively straightforward. There's a business model after the small matter of finding people actually willing to spend money on getting coaching from me. But I think we should take it forward just at this stage for further consideration. And finally, there come two topics that involve writing. Now, I do enjoy writing a lot. I've been doing it recently via Substack once a week. There's a link below. And I have a newsletter started, which I'm sending out once a week too. It's a great decompressor and it's really easy to generate content for me. I really think this one is worth pursuing. I'll need to refine down and get a bit more professional about it in terms of marketing, etc. But I am selecting this one. Coming off the back of that is the idea that I can maybe repurpose some of the newsletters and content as articles and maybe add to the income by perhaps reselling the articles. But I'll need to work out how to get the articles in front of the people who might be willing to actually pay for them. Okay, so after all that, what have we got? Here are the results I've come up with. It's a yes for YouTube and for coaching. And then we have the two which I lump together and call it writing. The rest are not out of the running, but for the moment they're going to have to wait until I can see what happens with these first two. So next time I'm looking in more depth at the items and coming up with action plans. Don't forget the challenge is to come up with earnings of 10k a month. Do you like the idea? Well, look, maybe we could swap notes if you like. Contact me and maybe we can help each other out. And I'll see you next time.